Hold on, let me let them know. Gentlemen, can you put your device on mute, please?
Yes.
State of Michigan, 36th District Court is now assessed with the Honorable Christina V. Kennedy. During proceedings, there should be no driving, smoking, eating, drinking, sleeping, or laying down. Do not start the video or mute your device unless the court instructs you to do so. If there's anything that you need to do that you don't want the rest of the world to see, please walk away from the camera quietly. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, y'all.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Judge Christina V. Kennedy, and I will preside over the docket for courtroom 433 this afternoon. This is a landlord-tenant docket. Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me, first of all? If you can hear me, can you give me a thumbs up? Okay, thank you. All right, I just want to reiterate before we get started, Officer Wallace's instruction that if there's anything that you don't want the rest of the world to see you doing, you please make sure you turn off your camera or completely step away from your device. We are streaming these proceedings live over YouTube. We are streaming the proceedings live over YouTube. That means that anybody can join us. And so if you want to prevent any embarrassment, if you have to use the restroom or change your clothes or something to that effect, please make sure your device is, you completely step away from your device or you completely turn your camera off. We have a relatively short docket today. We have one dismissal. I'll call that one first. Two dismissals, I'm told. We have two dismissals. Okay, thank you. All right, so I'll call the dismissals first. Please listen out for your name, address, or case number. Please don't say anything until I ask you to either place your appearance on the record or ask you to state your name. Now calling case number 24345-472. This is Cass Community Social Services versus Frank Jenkins and all other occupants of 1440 Webb, apartment 4 in the city of Detroit. The matter is scheduled for pretrial on a complaint to recover possession of property. Is plaintiff's counsel present? If so, please make your appearance known now.
No check-in.
Madam Clerk, it's indicated that the plaintiff's attorney did not check in on this case. Is the defendant Frank Jenkins or any occupant of 1440 Webb, apartment 4 present?
No check-in.
Madam Clerk, it's indicated that the defendant failed to appear on this matter. There's a notice of dismissal by plaintiff in the file. It has been signed by plaintiff's attorney, and so the court is going to dismiss this matter without prejudice. I have the dismissal order in front of me, and I am signing it now. Copies of this order will be mailed to the addresses of record. That concludes this matter. Off the record for 1 minute. All right, back on the record. Now calling case number 24348-454. This is Sontag Properties LLC versus Aviance Kirk Dante Gaines. And this is for property located at 19605 Ryan in the city of Detroit. I'm sorry, this is for Aviance Kirk Dante Gaines and any other occupant of 19605 Ryan in the city of Detroit. The matter is scheduled for a first hearing on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Is plaintiff's counsel present? If so, please place your appearance on the record.
No check-in.
Madam Clerk, it's indicated that this plaintiff did not check in, nor did the plaintiff's attorney. Is Aviance Kirk Dante Gaines or any occupant of 19605 Ryan present?
No check-in.
Madam Clerk, it's indicated that the defendant has failed to check in. The court is in receipt of a notice of dismissal by plaintiff. It has been signed by the plaintiff's attorney of record. And so the court is going to dismiss this matter without prejudice. The court will mail the dismissal order to both addresses of record. And I am signing this order now. That concludes this matter. Okay, now we have 4 more cases. I'm going to call them all at once. Please listen out for your name, address, or case number. Now calling case number 2434849. This is Waters Edge Apartments versus Ayana Ledbetter and all other occupants of 3500 East Jefferson Avenue, number 103 in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Also calling case number 2434859, Yvette Perez versus occupants of 20353 Maroff in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint to recover possession of property. Also calling case number 2434857, Jill Johnson versus Deshaun G. This is for property located at 7312 American in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. And from the 135 docket, no, I'm sorry, is it the 135 docket? Yes. This is from the 135 docket. This is case number 24346-987, Darlene French versus Michael Alda and Marie Crooker. And this is for property located at 15625 Fairmount Drive. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. This is actually before the court for a technical first hearing. The remaining matters are scheduled for a first hearing pursuant to Michigan Supreme Court Administrative Order 2020-17. All first hearings are to be adjourned. Therefore, these matters will be adjourned to a new date. The next date is tentatively scheduled for July 26th, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. That will be in person in courtroom 433 down at 36th District Court. 36th District Court is located at 421 Madison in downtown Detroit. Again, this will be an in-person hearing for all of the cases that I just called tentatively. An in-person hearing. If you are logged in via a tablet or a smartphone, Madam Clerk, just type the information about the hearing into our Zoom chat. And so you can go into the chat function and screenshot that information. Otherwise, please write it down. The court will mail notices to appear to all parties, but just in case those notices get lost in the mail, please record the information that I just gave you about the next court date, which again is scheduled for July 26th in person at 8:30 a.m. Plaintiffs, you are to bring with you to the next court date in person the following documents: a copy of the deed, a copy of the lease agreement, a copy of the most up-to-date rental ledger if rent is at issue, a completed proof of service, and a copy of the property management agreement if there's a property management agreement in place. Again, plaintiffs, I need the deed, the lease agreement, the property management agreement, if rent is at issue, the most up-to-date rental ledger, and a completed proof of service. Failure to provide those documents at the next court date could result in dismissal of your case. So please make sure, if you have not already filed those documents, you bring a copy with you on July 26th at 8:30 a.m. Defendants, you are to bring any evidence that you have that supports your defense, but it needs to be reduced to paper. Specifically, I'm speaking of payment receipts and photographs. Please don't bring those that evidence into court on your cell phone and ask me to scroll through the cell phone. I cannot put the cell phone into the file as evidence. And I just don't like scrolling through people's phones because I don't like people looking through my phone. So again, if you have evidence, please make sure you reduce it to paper and bring it with you to court on July 26th at 8:30. Defendants, you have the right to be represented by an attorney if you so choose. You can either hire your own attorney or you can speak to the agency attorneys that are logged into the Zoom session today. They are here to provide you with legal advice for the day with the potential of them taking on your case to represent you throughout the close of these proceedings. And that will be free of charge to you. At the end of your hearing, I will ask that you be transferred If you're logged in via a tablet or a smartphone, you will receive a prompt come across your screen. Please tap the prompt. It'll take you into the breakout room. If you called in, you don't have to worry about receiving a prompt. Your transfer will be automatic. Either way, once you get into the breakout room, you will not be able to hear or see what is going on in this main session. And we in the main session will not be able to hear or see what's going on with you in the breakout room. That is so that you can have a private conversation with your attorney. At the end of your conversation, you're free to log off, defendants, but please make sure you come back to court on July 26th at 8:30 a.m. That'll be in person. And if you don't come back to court, a default judgment can be entered against you, defendants and plaintiffs. If you don't come to court on July 26th at 8:30 in person, your case will be dismissed. All right. With that being said, for matter ending in 493, can I have plaintiff's counsel place your appearance on the record?
Your Honor, for the record, Attorney Ian Morton of Hallett's Law, P67892, on behalf of the plaintiff, Water's Edge.
Thank you. Good afternoon to you, Attorney Morton. Is Ayanna Ledbetter or any occupant of 3500 East Jefferson, number 103 present? If so, please make your presence known now.
Okay.
Madam Clerk has indicated that this defendant did not check in. Counsel, I do not have a proof of service in the file. I just checked the register of actions to see if one was filed. According to this, there was no proof of service filed. Was the defendant served?
Yes, Your Honor. From my understanding, the defendant was served. I will make sure that a proof of service is brought with us to court at the next hearing on 7/26, along with the other documentation the court has requested.
When was the defendant served, counsel?
I believe the defendant was served. I'm looking for the exact date, but I believe the service date was last week. Wait, one moment, Your Honor. I'm looking at it right here.
Okay, I'll come back to you, counsel.
June 11, 2024, Your Honor.
Okay, June 11th, 2024. All right, I will note that for the file, and I will rely on your representation as an officer of the court that the defendant was served to continue with this first hearing, which will be adjourned to a subsequent hearing to take place on the date that I gave, July 26th at 8:30 a.m. in person. The court will mail notice, and as with all of the cases today, if the defendant does log in before we end our Zoom session, the defendant will have an opportunity to speak to an agency attorney. I think that's it for you, Attorney Morton.
That is correct, Your Honor. That's the only matter I have for the day, so I wish the court a good weekend.
You too, and happy Father's Day if you're a father. That concludes this.
I am lucky enough to be one. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, happy Father's Day to you. Enjoy. All right. For matter ending in 529, is Yvette Perez present?
Awesome.
Please dial *6 and state your name.
Good afternoon, Yvette Perez.
Okay, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, ma'am. Can you spell your last name for me?
P-E-R-E-A.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I misread that. My apologies.
That's
All
okay.
right. Is there any occupant of 20353 Maross present? If so, thank you. Madam Clerk has indicated that the defendant did not check in for this case. Ms. Pereira, I do not have a proof of service in the file. Let me check the register of actions to see if proof of service was filed. 859. Let's see. Is that it? It looks like they're walking.
It's 529.
This is 529, yes. Actually, the proof of service for this case just came into the courtroom, so perfect. I don't have to give you a different date. All right, so based on the fact that the defendant was served, the court is going to adjourn this complaint to recover possession of property to a subsequent hearing. I'm sorry, adjourn this first hearing on the complaint to recover possession of property to a subsequent hearing to take place on July 26th at 8:30 a.m. in person. Ma'am, did you get that date?
Yes, I did.
Okay, please make sure you bring all of the information that I indicated is necessary to the next court date. I'm just taking a cursory glance at your file. I don't have the deed in here. I'll definitely need that. And if there's a lease agreement, I need that as well.
No lease agreement, ma'am. These are squatters.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll see you on July 26th at 8:30 a.m. That concludes this matter. You're free to log off.
Thank you very much. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
You too. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, for matter ending in 570, is Jill Johnson present?
Yes, I'm
Please.
present. Jill
Good
Johnson.
afternoon. Thank you. Good afternoon to you, Ms. Johnson. You are the plaintiff in this complaint for non-payment of rent. Is Deshaun G. present? Madam Clerk has indicated that that defendant has not checked in. Madam Clerk, do you have a proof of service for that defendant? No. All right, I don't have a proof of service for this case, ma'am. I am checking the register of actions to see if one was filed, and there was no proof of service filed, ma'am. So I'm going to have to adjourn your case to another court date. So disregard the date that I gave you earlier. Your matter will be adjourned to July 12th, 2024 at 1:35 p.m. and that will be via Zoom. So you will appear the same way you appeared today via Zoom. Okay?
Okay, he was
Have
served. He was.
Have
Go
you
ahead.
been in contact with your court officer? Or who served him? I should ask you that.
My maintenance man served him personally on the property. I did call the court this morning and let them know, and they said I could fax it in, but they said it would take 2 or 3 days to get to your desk.
Your who served him? Who?
The maintenance person.
And when was he served?
On June 8th.
Yeah, okay, no, I'm gonna have to, I'm going to need the proof of service, ma'am. So I'll see you on the 12th. Hopefully it will have made it to the court by then. So I'll see you via Zoom at 1:35 on July 12th.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day. That concludes matter ending in 570. For matter ending in 987, is Darlene French present? Please dial *6. Ms. French, you're on the telephone. Please dial *6 to unmute yourself. Okay,
Yes.
there you are. Please state your name.
Yes. Darlene French.
Thank you, Ms. French. You are the plaintiff on this complaint for non-payment of rent. Is Michael Alda or Marie Crooker present? Thank you. Madam Clerk has indicated that the defendants have failed to check in on this case. Ms. French, I do not have a proof of service in this file. Madam Clerk, do you have one over there? No. All right, I'm checking the register of actions to see if a proof of service has been filed. Okay, so the register of actions indicates that a proof of service has been filed. It just has not made it to our court file yet. So based on the fact that the register of actions states that there's a proof of service, the court will adjourn this matter to the date that I just, to July 26th. So we'll proceed with the first hearing today and adjourn this matter to a subsequent hearing to take place on July 26th at 8:30 a.m. in court room 433. Ma'am, please bring a copy of your proof of service with you to the court, just in case. Just bring the proof of service as well as the other documents that I indicated are necessary, okay?
Yes, and that was room 433.
Yes, courtroom 433. Do you I'm sorry, do you have all of the information that I gave you?
Yes.
Okay, yes, courtroom 433 at 8:30 a.m.
Okay.
And
fine,
I will
thank
see you in person on that day. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you. That concludes matter ending in 987. And that concludes the docket for courtroom 433 for today and for this week. I thank you everyone for your assistance. Thank you to the agency attorneys. I always appreciate you. Thank you, Officer Wallace, Madam Court Reporter, and Madam Court Clerk. And happy Father's Day. Do I have any fathers on here? Happy Father's Day. Attorney DeGar, enjoy yourself.
I will. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody. Court is adjourned.
Again.